Welcome to Tuesday, friends and fabulous, fabulous people who are all getting ready and organized to take over the world this week. I trust that for those of you that had a public holiday yesterday, that you've come back into the working week with a whole lot of joie de vivre, a whole lot of rest, feeling really great, awesome and fantastic and ready to take on the world. What I wanted to talk with you about today, Invisible Live, Season 6, Episode 5. I can't believe we are 5 episodes in. It is completely ridiculous. That's halfway through this season already, and we've covered off some really important factors to you being out there, to you being visible, to you really connecting and engaging with your audience online. What I wanted to chat with you a little bit about today is about the soul of niching, essentially, and the art of niching. Niching is a concept that so many people tell me that they get confused about, they get overwhelmed with, and they get, quite frankly, a little bit worried about that they're going to get it wrong, that they're going to screw it up. They've often tried doing different niching activities along the way to find themselves lost, confused, distracted, or they go and try some of these things and they just don't work, and then that leads into, I guess, like feeling a little bit disheartened. It can lead into feeling a little bit meh, and then you start to question yourself and your choices and things like that. So what I wanted to chat with you about today is some ways that you can circumvent this, some ways that you can really feel like, and I guess like have this evidence that you are able to connect and talk to the people who you really want to talk to. Now, what this means is that we're going to have to do it in a bit of a different way to the way that we are told and the way that we're talked about. Now, I think the first big thing with niching that tends to come up is, well, how do I need to speak in order to connect with my audience? Now, the first thing that I would always very strongly recommend that you do is always speak like you, right? You're not going to adjust the way that you talk, the way that you write, the way that you speak, the way that you articulate yourself based on the choices that you make for your niche. I want you to speak like you. Now, what you're going to do, and some of the most powerful marketing that I've ever seen has been when people just kind of show up as they are. I've recently become friends with a person on Facebook. I actually can't remember her name. It's a fairly recent friend, and I see some of her posts go through and I'm just like, yeah, bam. Like, she's always got loads of comments and stuff like that on her personal profile for what it is that she does, and she's pretty vocal about different things that she believes in, which is really, really amazing to see because people are really responding to that. Now, I would suggest that there's probably a little bit of strategy that goes into that, right? I mean, like we're in business, we have to become the masters of marketing ourselves. So yes, of course it is a bit strategic, but really the most powerful thing that you can ever do is to show up and be you, and to speak in the way that you would normally speak to your friend, to your partner, to your, to maybe a client who's been around for a little bit of time and who is really already used to you and how you are. So what I want you to think about first of all is, like, it's not about trying to change you or change your approach or just kind of go, oh, you know, personality to the wind, and I'm just going to have to show up and be professional, or I'm going to have to show up and be sarcastic, or I'm going to have to show up and be really funny. It's about you showing up and really being yourself. The second piece to all of this is, if you've ever been caught up in these, like, how do I niche? How do I do this? One of the best things that you can look at is, where were you between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, and what were you thinking, feeling, going through? Now, it doesn't always work in terms of what you're selling might not be what you needed back then, right? I mean, you could be selling personal training, for instance. Back then you really needed life coaching, or perhaps you're selling, you know, look good, feel great in your skin, and you've always felt look good, felt great in your skin. But there will be some common links, because we're all human. We all go through these things, whether it's, you know, working through problems, whether it's driving towards goals, whatever it might be. And so there'll be some hints and things in there around what you can draw upon in terms of being able to drive engagement. Or not even engagement rather, but in terms of being able to really kind of connect with your audience, right? So there's that. The third thing that I really want you to think about, and this is going to take some time, it is going to require you to do some journaling or brainstorming or, you know, chatting to your business bestie, whatever it might be. Really want you to get down and think about who are the types of people that you want to work with, right? Put it aside. Don't worry about what you're going to sell, how you're going to do it. Don't worry about any of that. If you're finding that you really need to almost like be reinvigorated, really up with who your niche is, then get really clear on who it is that you want to work with. Who is it that you would want to hang out with? What kinds of things would you talk about? What kinds of banter would you go back and forth with? Now, for me, like I love to joke around. I also love, you know, the business strategy. I love being presented with a problem, somebody else's problem. I love being presented with a problem and having to problem solve it and kind of work through it, you know. So there are all of these different types of conversations that I love having with people. So what are their beliefs? Do they share your beliefs? Hey, Karen, great to see you. What are the things that they'd like to talk about on the weekends as well? What are the things that they like to do? I mean, for one, I only want to work with people who I could hang out and have a drink with and kind of like flap my gums with for ages. And I also love working with people who are really passionate about creating positive change in the world. I love working with people who are looking at doing something different, who are really brave, who are really happy to sort of like just go, okay, let's give it a whirl and let's see what happens. So I think it's really important that you have a look at that. And a clue to this might be to have a look at your friends. Have a look at your friends. What kinds of things do you like to talk about? How do you like to banter back and forth? And is that something that would really light you up when it comes to who it is that you have coming through your stuff? Demographics can be important. Hey, Jeanette. And in fact, they are important, particularly when it comes down to like creating stories and stuff like that. But it's less about the binary ones and zeros. Where do they live? What kind of car do they drive? What books do they like to read? You know, blah, blah, that old stuff. You know, yeah, it's important. But in order for you to really kind of hone this, I want you to go deeper. The next thing that I'd really suggest that you do is to think about perhaps what's the name of your program, or what's the name of your offer, or what's the name of your thing that you are wanting to do, right? So let's say that the program that I'm delivering at the moment is called Bold. And so I would write down, you know, who is the bold, and it's mainly for women, who is the bold woman? What is she like? What is she drawn to? You know, who is it that she really needs to like embody and become and feel like in order for her to really feel empowered to be able to get herself out there? What does she do for fun? What does she believe in? What does she stand for? What does she stand against? What does she say fuck you to? And what does she say, yeah, you know, that's amazing, you know, let's go? Because it's less about the thing that you do, and it's more about really being able to tap into that same frequency that person has, so that they can see that you're able to progress and move them forward. All right, so that's really about the niching way. And yeah, there's like the other thing that I would suggest that you do in terms of being able to drill it down a bit further is to consider and think about what is that stuff that they worry about at 3:00 in the morning. Do they go through stages of feeling like they're on top of the world and that they're completely invincible and that nothing can touch them, but there is a come down from that? You know, perhaps that's your person, and then they still have those moments of self-doubt, self-reflection, where they're like, oh man, you know, I don't know that I can do this, or, you know, yeah, I can really do this. You know, what is it for them, and how does that then translate into the way that they wake up in the morning? How does their body feel? Do they bounce up? Do they have a positive cup half full view of the world no matter what it is that's going on? Or are they a little bit more like, oh my God, I feel like I'm wading through freaking quicksand, trying to stretch, engage, move forward, and actually like motivate? What is it that they're doing? How is it that they're waking up? And then once you've got all of that, it becomes a lot easier for you to then to become the person that creates the content, the powerful content for those people. It helps you to then be able to, show up as who you are and the way that you are, and tell it like it is, right? And really share stuff from your heart to theirs that helps them to progress and to move forward. So that is our short, sharp, and shiny soul of the niche that I wanted to share with you today for Visible Live Season 6, Episode number 5. All about getting you up, getting you out there, and making a difference. Now, niching is a really important conversation in terms of, the way that you're going to show up, the way that you're going to market. So the longer you spend time in doing this and refining it and revisiting it, like stick to this way of doing things for the next 90 days and see what happens. Really sit in this person, really become this other person. And then the other thing that you can think of that I didn't say is, what is it that this person really needs to hear today? What is it that this person really needs to feel today? What does this person really need to connect with in order for them to feel like it's okay and that they can keep going, or that it's okay and they can accelerate, or that it's okay that they can slow down, or that it's okay that they can reinvent, or that it's okay for them to be exactly who they are and the way that they are, and that kind of thing. Yep. And then obviously, like, we've then got to then tie that into your product, your program, your offer, whatever it is moving forward. But first of all, like, really spend the time on doing this, because it will serve you for the foreseeable future. All right, everybody, have a really amazing day. I look forward to catching you guys next Tuesday, same time, same place, for episode number 6. I haven't got my paperwork in front of me, so I can't tell you what we'll be talking about, but of course it will be something fabulous, something about being visible, something about being really powerfully out there, uniquely out there, so that you can really stand out, make a difference, cut through the noise and the bullshit like a hot knife through butter. Have a great day, everybody. Have fun and get yourself out there and, get out there, change some lives. I'll talk to you later.